southwest of Chicago, there is a small, secluded cemetery known as Bachelors Grove, and it is one of the most haunted places in the United States. Author Brian K. Morris brings you a collection of writings that will help you navigate this ghostly graveyard, if you dare. The Haunting Scripts of Bachelors Grove is available now on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Seconds.
Welcome to Clever Title Pending, a proud member of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We talk to creatives about creativity and the business behind them. So type in your questions and become part of the conversation. And now, here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to Clever Title Pending for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now, 13 may not be lucky for some people, but it's going to be a lucky day for us because we've got a guest who's been on before, but this time he's all by himself, just like the Eric Carmen song, Mr. Rick Bradley. We're going to be talking to him about his writing, about how he has really gotten a lot done, a lot accomplished in just about a year and a half of meeting his network, his tribe, the Nevermorians. But anyway, and also he's got his own publishing company, RAAD Publishing, and we'll ask him about that logo soon. And please bring your questions. We look forward to your questions and comments of a fellow Nevermorian. But anyway, we're glad you're all here. Thank you for showing up tonight. And this episode and all episodes are powered by the one, the only, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. And there it is. Take a picture, take a screenshot of that wonderful schedule there, because we've got your entertainment and information covered 7 days a week. And we've got a variety of great shows. Please check them out. Please give our page, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page, a like on Facebook. And please, when you're watching these shows on Facebook, please give the videos a like and share them. And thank you, Cindy Kemp, for already sharing this episode. I appreciate that, and so does Rick. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing. It just takes a second. You can change your mind later, but I don't think you'll want to. You won't want to miss a single one. Plus, also thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Patreon's a service where you can support your favorite creators for a small monthly subscription. Even $1 a month helps us a lot. It really does. It helps keep us on the air, and you'll get all kinds of cool stuff in exchange. Works in progress, secret blogs, all kinds of cool stuff. So please go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and see what we can offer you. And thank you also to Brian Rodman for sharing this video. Appreciate you both. And also thank you to Plasma Fire Graphics for their sponsoring of this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. As a publisher, as a creator, you know yourself that the cover is the thing that can turn just a browser into a fan. So go for the very best. Go for Plasma Fire Graphics. Jeffrey Hayes is looking forward to hearing from you. You can contact him through his website, plasmafiregraphics.com, or check out his Facebook page. They're both spectacular. You saw two examples of what he can do for y'all, as he's done for me. So anyway, please check out Plasma Fire Graphics when the look of your book matters to you. Now, I'm excited to have this next guest on. We have mentioned his backstory several times, many times, and he would probably he'd probably qualify for imposter syndrome for all the times we've used him as a good example. And he really is a fantastic example to creators, both new creators, people who haven't gotten their feet wet in the creative circles yet, and also people who have been at this a while. But it is my definite pleasure to present to you the one, the only, Mr. Rick Bradley. Rick, how are you tonight?
Hi! I'm doing good. How are you, Brian?
Oh, so far so good. No smoke, no flame, no fires, no problems. So yeah, we're doing okay.
That's always a plus.
It is. I'll take it, by God. But no, Rick is a super talented writer. He really is, and we'll have him tell. Now, yes, you quit being an imposter syndrome victim like me. But anyway,
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, where'd you pick that up? It's you. I learned it from you. I remember those commercials myself. Oh, and this is your brain. I'm Brian K. Morris. But anyway, but no, Rick is a valued member of the Nevermorian community. He tunes into all the shows. He supports other shows here, and I say we. It's my pronoun. We're so proud of him. Because in a year and a half, you've really come a long way, and you've gone from just looking in to being part of an award-winning publication, my dude. Let the vapors of imposter syndrome dissipate with a reminder of that. Like Carl Witzman says, the only people who have imposter syndrome are the people who've actually accomplished something. So anyway, we are proud to have you here, Rick. We really are, and then we'll have you back. We'll just keep having you back till you finally come to your senses. But right now, I'm going to give you the entire screen. I'm going to give you the floor and all the dirt on it, and I want you to give yourself a brief introduction and tell everybody why you are so darned awesome.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just awesome. That's just kind of how it goes.
Okay, thank you, folks. Thanks for tuning in. That's our show for tonight.
Good night. Have a good night. Drive
home
safe.
Safely.
Spay and neuter your pets. My name is Rick Bradley. I was born and raised in Southern Illinois, which is about 6 hours south of Chicago. So, whenever I say I'm from Illinois, everyone's like, so, we're about in Chicago. It's like nowhere near. I live in a little town, West Frankfort, with my girlfriend, my 2 kids, which we got 1 on the way. So before long, it's going to be 3. A couple dogs and a cat. And I play video games and write stories.
That's pretty cool. That is cool indeed, sir. And as I've mentioned on these shows frequently, Rick and I met about a year and a half ago now, I think it is, right?
It was August or September of 2019.
Yeah.
Whenever they had their last BirdCon.
Right, in Harrisburg, Illinois. Scott Reed, we love you. We miss you. And Scott has a page for the convention, and Rick and I initially made contact with each other because Rick had a yen to become a published author. And Rick, why don't we take this moment here? How did you become a writer? What was your journey? When did you realize that you wanted to do this, not just do this, but do it professionally? And what led up to our meeting?
Well, I've been wanting to write professionally for a good long time. I mean, I've loved books ever since I could read. So I, was like, hey, I wonder how I can get into this. But of course, I didn't know the whole self-publishing, how to do that or anything. Didn't know anyone that really had done that. So in my mind, I'm thinking I got to get with, one of the top 5 or now top 4, right? Publishers out there.
Top 3, actually.
Top 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Good thing we self-published. We don't have to worry about us falling through.
That's right.
But I had always wanted to. I would always run D&D games for my friends, the role-playing games. I'd come up with the stories. So I was always a storyteller. Always had some sort of thing going on in my brain. Then one night I had about 2 or 3 actually pretty crazy dreams. Crazy enough that I wrote them down and kept looking at them thinking, man, this one would make an awesome horror story, or this one here would make a pretty good action adventure. So, and just at that time, it so happened, Scott, I think, posted on the BurbCon page about you possibly doing a writer seminar. And I'm like, sweet. It's like kismet right there. It's just like everything was working. And I'm like, I can't let this pass. I got to at least try. If I can go in, ask questions, and they show me like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'll never will. Fine. I can, go about my life. Of course, that didn't happen. I
No.
went in, you, Amy Hale, and Kathy Jackson, you three were just the best. I mean, you put up with all my questions, you put up with everyone else's questions, you put up with me talking to you guys for mostly the rest of the day at BurbCon, hanging around your tables, and it just blossomed from there.
Yeah. Well, having you hang around was not exactly a burden. So,
And also, everyone, I was dressed as Dad Bod Thor from Avengers Endgame, so I was swinging Mjolnir and being boisterous, so they had to put up with that too.
well, you see, now that illustrates always make a good first impression. Look
Right?
professional, right? Says the guy with the fez. Yeah, fingers a waving. But no, it was from my perspective, and I can't talk for Amy and Kathy, but we talk to a lot of people, and sometimes they ask, how do I get in print? How do I do this? How do I do that? Usually very general. Just like our conversation started, but you can see your advice like floating through the ether, going into one of their ears and then zipping out the other one without, ever slowing down. So it was, I could tell you were paying attention, and that's refreshing. And then watching you apply what you learned and going out and finding more information and getting involved in the community, the Nevermorian community. That that's why we're so damn proud of you, good fella. That's all there is to it. Now, you wound up, your first published work was 4 months later after meeting the three of us. There it is.
Yep, right here.
Tell us about that, would you please?
The story, or just
tell about the story, and tell
guess.
about how you got in there, how you found out about the book, and what you did to become a part of it.
Funny enough, I found out through you, as you had mentioned that Jen Thompson was working on a horror anthology and thought that I would be a good fit for it. And so I got in contact with her and checked to see, word count, everything like that. How far can I go with the story? And I had a story in my head ever since high school. I actually wrote a little bit out in high school for a creative writing class. And so I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to tell this story for, going to show my age, about 20 years now or more.
You were
So
1 year old at the time.
Right? Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I decided to go ahead and just write that out. And I definitely changed a lot of things in the one that's in the Nightmare Collective. The one in high school was not as, I guess, crazy. Yeah, that'll be the nice way to put it.
Yeah, good adjective there. Good word there.
Right. I mean, it's just about a marble that's possessed by demons that takes over people. Nothing much.
Yeah.
Couple head twisting, kind of a little exorcist going on. And so I submitted the story to Jen, and I'm not gonna lie, I was seriously expecting her to message back and say, "Hey, the story was nice, but it's not something we're looking for right now." And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I'm expecting a no and I get a yes, it'll be even better. Which is true, because as soon as she messaged back, "Oh my God, I love it. We're going to put it in." I'm sitting here. I remember looking at Andrea going, "I think I'm about to become a published author." Pinch, pinch, pinch. Am I dreaming here?
Oh.
And whenever she sent me the first copies of it, I remember opening the box, and just like you said on so many of your shows before, that feeling never gets old. I mean, I just open it and I'm like, that's me. That's me in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I read through the story, and I'm just like, even though I knew everything that happened in it, of course, but I still read through it like, I'm reading something that I got published. It's printed. I didn't do it either. Someone else was wanting to do it. and it just, I was on cloud nine for a good while after that.
That's fantastic. Well, you earned your place at the table, and this is a good place, to tell people, get the writer's guidelines. If you reach out to the different publishers, different editors, ask if they're taking submissions, and if they tell you yes, and they tell you what format, like for instance, Jen Thompson at Neil Leaf Press was looking for horror stories. Don't send her your Paleolithic era erotica. Now there could be a market for it. You can self-publish. Possibly, yeah. It goes along dino porn. But anyway, wondering when we'd work that in. But anyway, find out what the guidelines are and adhere to them. Some companies even get down to the nitty-gritty and tell you how to format your story to make it easier on them. Remember, folks, your job is to make the editor's life easier. So, when somebody's asking for like a 5,000 word horror story, don't be sending them your 950 page fantasy sword and sorcery epic, the first in a series. So, it just makes sense. But we've got comments. Let's get comments from our friends here. So you're generating comments, Rick, and good ones too. Teresa Dunn from YouTube. Good evening, Brian and Rick Bradley. Mwah. Thank you for being here. The Historical Fencing Guild, Nicholas Tockard, has joined us. Good evening to you.
He's not a cryptid.
He is not a cryptid. I sat opposite him for about 3 hours, and he did not cryptid once. And Keisha Acuff, hello to you. And Jeffrey Hayes of Plasma Fire Graphics. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. And everyone's saying hello to each other. Jeffrey Hayes, hey, Rick and Brian, here's to an awesome interview. Cheers. Well, improved by your presence here, sir. Remember, Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. And Bill Sarn, good evening, Brian, Rick, and all the Pandarians. Good to see you, Bill Sarn, Sarnart76 on Facebook. Check out his artwork. And Ted Davies Artistry. Hello, Mr. Morris and Mr. Bradley. Hello, Mr. Davies. Good to see you. And don't forget, Thursday morning, Ted Talks Timepieces. And on Friday night, he and his wife, Chris, are going to be drinking with the Davies. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Carl Witzman, good to see you. Hello to you, my friend. And Brian Robin, thank you for sharing this video. Good evening, my fellow Brian and Clever Morians. So excited to hear from the Rickinator. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, to be Bach.
You can't threaten us like that. And from the desk of Small Press publisher, Jody McPhee, good to see you, sir. It's no longer pending. Broadcast is a go. That's right. We are on the air and we are hot. Oh, yeah, baby. Boom, chicka, wow, wow. And speaking of hot, there is Carleen. Mwah. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. And Carl put his like on before he forgot. And all of you should do the same. Please, if you're watching us on Facebook, please like this video. Please share it with your friends so people can discover more about Rick Bradley here, all right? And also, please like the page you're watching it on as a thank you to your host. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to give this a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel because we got stuff going on. And Bill Sarn says, I love the new opening graphic and clever title pending logo. Brian looks sharp. Thank you, Bill Sarn. That is courtesy of the aforementioned Amy Hale, who is graced us with that. And thank you, Amy. We publicly say thank you. We appreciate you so much. And hashtag fear the dark mistress. That's right. She could be lurking anywhere, Brian Rodman. And just to like Carl, I also shared. Thank you, Carly. YouTube doesn't tell me about that, but I appreciate your doing that. I'm going to write that down and I'll make sure that, remember, every time you like this video and every time you subscribe on YouTube, Santa puts you in the good person's list. And Teresa Dunn has a great question for you. Hey, Rick, how does it feel to be a part of the Rising Tide community? It's like, we talk a lot about networking, about finding your tribe. How does it, I will assume that you have found your tribe with us. I'm just going to go on a limb there. But how does so many of us operate in solitude when we create. How does it feel to have a support system?
It might sound a little crazy, but it feels like an expensive bra. Amazingly supportive. I mean, seriously. You
put it all in perspective, Rick.
Well,
I played him a writer.
But seriously, I know I could ask any one of you guys anything, and if you don't have an answer, you'll point me in the direction, and that means the world that I know I don't have to worry about stressing about it. I could just, hey Brian, what do you think about this? Or hey Amy, you know, and you'll either be like, okay, that was crap, change it, and I'll be like, you got a good point, let me change it. You know, I know you're not just going to be saying it just to be saying it. You want to. Everyone here wants to better everyone else. You know, the rising tide raises all ships, and it's it's like a new gospel. I don't care what anyone says. It is. I love it.
Well, we certainly have. We're certainly one of the more liberal religions here at the Dark Church of the Rising Tide. So, I don't think we forgive. I don't think we forbid a whole lot, which could be a problem come come eventually. But anyway, Carl Witzman now raises an ethical issue. Are we share shaming now? Yeah, we are. So anyway. So please share this this broadcast, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, because we appreciate it. And it does help us because the algorithms are really, really horrible. And if anyone's comments are not showing up on Facebook, because that was a problem a couple of days ago, not with me, not just with me, but a couple other shows that I know of, switch over to the YouTube channel. All right. You will find it on Facebook. You'll find it above the screen here. So if your comments don't come up in the next 10 minutes, just pop on over here and we'll read your stuff. And Eric Hawkins says, do I know this guy? He looks familiar. It's me, Eric. I'm on all the time. Okay. But anyway, it's Eric Hawkins of Comic Book Spectrum every Thursday at 7 p.m. on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network.
That is the Eric Hawkins.
The Eric Hawkins. His friends call him the. Yes, like my country, 'tis of thee. You know, it's the same thing. And Carlene says, sure, Carl, we are. And Joe D. McPhee from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. Check him out Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Great interviews with other creators. Is getting published by someone a goal? I still see creatives still trying to go that route in this market. Now, thank you, Joe. That's a super question. Now, Rick is a hybrid author, which, you know, for those of you who came in late, a hybrid author not only is published by other people, but publishes themselves. And Rick has a publishing this side, Brian, a publishing concern. Do you want to talk to us about that? And then we'll get back to Joe's question.
Ride Publishing. I've just now started it up, not today, of course, but it's been something I've been thinking about for a good long time. After, you know, publishing my Marvin's Night Out, I'm like, hey, I can do this. So why not just kind of take a page out of your book, Brian, and get my own publishing company?
There you go.
And the name Rad, well, it kind of stemmed from a long time ago. I wanted to have my own gaming store because D&D, video games. I mean, I love all of it. And so I was going to name it R&D Gaming because my son's name is Donovan. So it was going to be kind of like R&D, research development, Rick and Donovan. Thank you. And so that didn't happen. And through the years, it just kind of evolved into what it is now. It was going to stand for Rick, Andrea, Eliana, and Donovan, which is my family. That's, you know, the people that I do all this for. It's the reason why I'm breathing, the reason why I do what I do. Now, though, we have a little boy who's due in October, and his name is going to start with an R. So my name's going to be kicked out of Rad. I couldn't do
it could be Rad.
Right. And Russell Allen, I don't know if you hear, she is leaning towards Raziel, so we'll see. We'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, it's gonna have the little boy's name and then, you know, Andrea, Eliana, and Donovan, because I want to get to the point where I can be at home all the time with them, write my books, I want to start broadcasting, you know, I want to do all this. And spend as much time with him as I can.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I love that, and I know a lot of us identify with that. Now, getting back to Joe D. McPhee's question, you've published yourself. You have been published by others, but now that you've published yourself, has that changed your perspective on being published by other people?
Not really. I mean, because yeah, I could, you know, if someone doesn't like a story and I want it out there, fine, I'll just do it myself. I mean, that's great. But when someone else sees something in something I write that just, talks to them or just makes them want to get it out to other people, I don't know. I mean, that feels really good to me. Just someone else saying, "Hey, Rick, you did amazing. I want to put this out there. I want other people to see it."
Very cool.
So I think they both definitely have their pluses and minuses on it.
Very cool. Well, I know he's also going to be published by Rising Tide Publications sometime this year, I'm thinking. So if I ever get ahead on my schedule enough, I can start editing again. I'm the slowest editor in the world. I suck.
Been quite the saga with this.
I know it's going to be worth waiting for though, because this guy's got a story in Doc Saga, so it's going to be great. Ryan Permisson has shared this broadcast. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much. And he asked 5 books that, to you, Rick, what are 5 books that belong on everyone's bookshelves?
Everyone's bookshelf.
Everyone's bookshelves.
All right. Well,
number 1.
And then there's Nightmare Collective.
Yeah.
Marvin's Night Owl. Tales of the Weird and Strange. And this award-winning book, I think you might have heard of it once or twice, everyone. Hope Reality, number 1. Oh, look, twinsies.
So nice you're seeing it twice. It's like a Viewmaster slide.
Right? And then, let's see, for my 5th one, because, I don't have 5 books out yet.
Not yet.
I would say, you know what? Dungeons and Dragons Player's Guide, because that's fuel for the imagination right there.
That's a beautiful answer, dude. It seriously is. As an old-time tabletop gamer myself, it's like it really, like you said, it whets the ability to come up with stories, not just from the person running its point of view, not from the game master, just the game master's point of view, but also the players, because the players do influence the story. So, very good answer. I like that. And Ryan asks, what are your favorite movies or TV series?
See, all-time favorite TV series? Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Thought so.
Oh, yeah. Second to that would be Farscape. That Farscape's one of my favorite sci-fi series. I love Star Trek and all those, but Farscape just, I don't know, blew it out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite movies? The Evil Dead series. All 3 movies, even the remake, which I was surprised by how much I loved it. And that TV series also. That's a great one. Goonies, Labyrinth, Neverending Story. Oh gosh. The Rocketeer. Well, you know how good that one is.
One of the best.
I could go on and on for movies. But those are definitely ones that if someone's like, "Hey, we're watching this," I'm there. I'm there.
Definitely. Bill Sarton would like to know, who were the authors that you read growing up, and which ones inspired you to write? Thank you, Bill.
Well, I read Tolkien growing up. Mm-hmm. And like I said, my sister, I've said this numerous times, she would read Charlotte's Web and other books to me. So that got me, loving books. Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. In high school, I started reading Robert Jordan, which, if you've not read the Wheel of Time series and you have a few years to spare, you need to read it. Mm-hmm. The books are all like this thick. And Brian Lumley as well. He is an amazing horror author, one of my favorites. So I feel like some of my style kind of comes from him, and I hope I can get up to his level, because I love all his books. They are just the best.
That is very cool. Very cool. And now we have a comment from a Mr. James Silvinsky. Congratulations, Rick. You're number 1 fan.
He's my nephew, but yeah,
hi, James.
Thanks, JB.
Thank you for being here, James. Appreciate you. Brian Rodman, who's also on Comic Book Spectrum Thursday nights at 7 p.m. # always promote. Question: what upcoming projects that you are creating are you the most excited about? What's on your plate these days?
Well, right now, I'm working on a horror anthology with these 5 other authors. Some guy, he wears a fez, and he's all right. I'll let him in.
It's all right. I'll let anyone in.
But working on with Brian, Amy, Kathy, Jen Thompson, and Charles Millhouse. They graciously said that they would work on a horror anthology that I'm coming up with. It's going to be kind of a cross between the RPG Chill and the TV show Supernatural. You don't have to watch or have played either to get in on it. And I'm working on getting the Bible set up for everyone on that, which I am severely slacking, which I will blame the car wreck and health on, but details.
That's why I'm blaming Duck Saga on your car wreck and your
exactly.
missteps. So, yeah,
exactly. I would too, man.
Yeah.
And the second book, well, not really the second book. Marvin's Night Out was technically number 0 in the Eden Falls trilogy. It was just to see if I could do it. So the first book of the Eden Falls trilogy will be coming out hopefully either towards the end of this year, or if not, the very beginning of next year. So
very cool. Well, you bring up the idea that your issue 0, as it were, that most comic fans can relate to see if you could do it. What would the book had to have done to make you think that maybe the Eden Falls trilogy wasn't a great idea, and maybe you should turn your attention somewhere else? What would have had to have happened?
Everyone that read it would have had to have been like, this was horrible. Why are you even going down this path?
Mm-hmm.
But so far people have read it. And it's not just the whole, because they're my friend, like, oh my gosh, Rick, this was great.
Yeah.
They'll tell me why they liked it. They'll pick certain points of the story out, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember what I was thinking of when I came up with that. And a lot of my friends have been like, okay, Rick, I was reading it, I had to put it down because I was just like, So
yeah. What kind of, how does that feel, knowing that you've creeped someone out?
It feels pretty good. Feels pretty good, Brian.
I feel you. And given to our earlier conversation, Bill Sarton wants to know when you will start marketing your expensive bras. For those of you who came in late, we're not explaining.
Yep. I'm going to need some volunteers. So
there you go. I'll help you screen them. Anyway, Ted Davies says, I'm here for you, brother. Question, Rick, what is the worst thing you don't like about being a new author? Having to promote?
Oh, yeah. Promoting can get daunting. I think probably the thing I dislike about being a new author is I only had a handful of books out, At the time, when I was a new author with Nightmare Collective and Marvin's Night Out, I was like, all right, I got these 2 little things. But, now that I've been doing it for a bit and I got 2 more out, I'm like, yeah, it's like the ball's rolling. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think starting off with not much, not much, I don't want to say product, but not much story out there, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's fair enough to think of what we do as a product, because it is what we're putting out there. We're hoping people not just buy it, but appreciate it enough to buy others of the kind, whether it's our own work or somebody that we are like. So, I have no problem with considering mine a product. Mickey Spillane, the great mystery writer, used to refer to his readers as his customers. So, but Mickey can get away with that. Eric Hawkins says, you got a cool logo. Why? Why does he feel that way?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like he designed it. Oh, wait. Yeah, he did. Which was great. I gave him ideas that I had in my brain for it, what I was looking for, because I'm an 80s/90s kid. So, the sunglasses, we had to have that in there.
Yeah.
And he sent me back a few logos, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy's knocking it out of the park. And I don't feel like I gave him a whole lot of direction. But I mean, I love you, the Eric Hawkins. You're great.
Yes, and I will agree, because I'll tell the world he also designed my logo too. So when you're looking for logo design, go to Eric Hawkins.
And be on the lookout for coffee mugs with Rad Publishing on them as well. I'm working on that.
There you go. Merchandising. And a question from Brian Rodman. Who are your top 5 authors that inspire you the most?
Well, we already mentioned Robert Jordan and Brian Lumley. So there's 2 of them. I would say, even Stephen King. I know a lot of people that's like their go-to, but the man's amazing. I know they've made fun of him before, I think in a Family Guy episode, where they're like, all right, Steven, give us a story. And it's like, ooh, the lamb. And the guy's like, really? But it's a murdering lamb, But he could make it work. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. True.
And also, Stan Lee, I grew up reading comics. I mean, he had a lot of amazing stories starting off. And, oh gosh, I guess a 5th one. Well, for the 5th one, can I just say my Rising Tide network here?
Yeah.
You guys all inspire me every day.
That's cool. That's very cool. They do the same for me. I will confess. Now here's an awesome question from Jody McPhee from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. Sign up for his YouTube page. If you can write anyone's biography, whose would it be?
I'd have to say Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Been a fan of him ever since I was a kid growing up, and I would show you the picture, but the garage is a complete and utter mess. But I do have a picture up from my senior year that I drew of him, and I mean, he was just an amazing man. He was like he was definitely the epitome of I'm not giving up. This is what I want. I'm going for it.
Yeah, really, very good. Brian Rodman would like to know, which Muppet are you?
Depends on the day. Or time of day even. If I wake up, I'm Oscar, hands down. And some people would say with my dad jokes, I'm definitely a Fozzie Bear. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, Facebook user, this is a Facebook glitch right here. Up in the comments above, I've got a little link that if you go in there and click on it, you'll see where it is. And then come back here. We'll see who you are, but we love you just the same. Said, if I had $1 for every pixel in Rick's Part 1, I could quit my job. Still love you, though.
You better.
Oh, do we have a clue who this is?
I have an idea. I think I know.
Okay, I think it's in probably one of the letters of your publishing name, right?
No, he would be on. He'd be on YouTube if he was watching, which he might be. I told him to.
Okay.
Kids.
Then I know. Oh, that one. Okay, all right. And on real news, though, I'm loving Marvin's Night Out. It's hard for a book to catch my attention. Splendid work. I can definitely tell Rick wrote it. Excellent.
I'm thinking that's my cousin Dakota.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He messaged me earlier a picture of him holding the book he had ordered off Amazon. So
that's fantastic. I love that. And Eric Hawkins says, we need to get you doing some comic scripts.
Yes.
Well, and I happen to know someone that can teach you. So, in fact, I have
a book from,
like this one?
Yeah, I believe that was the first one I purchased from you.
Oh, might have been. But anyway, folks, if you want to learn how to write comics, this is the one. It's written by my favorite author. So anyway, great comment, Eric. And I gotta get mine done too. And Megan Duncan says, "Love you, bud, but you're bringing back flashbacks." Would you like to explain this, Rick?
Oh gosh, with everything me and Megan's been through, there's no telling what the flashbacks are.
Well, on that nebulous note, Clyde Hall. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, me and Megan, we actually had a job beating up little kids. It was great.
Send all your hate mail to Rick Bradley at
We taught martial arts to kids.
Oh, okay, sure. Uh-huh. Uh, yeah, yeah. Lesson 4: defend yourself. Anyway, Clyde Hall, chill. This gentleman is the creme de la creme of comic reviewers on the aforementioned comic book spectrum. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Hashtag always promote. Chill, one of the best horror RPGs ever. Pace Setter, Mayfair, Growling Door, or the variant Crypt World Chilling Adventures. Which was your gateway, and which do you like best? That's first of all. I mean, everybody knows what D&D is. Everybody, that's kind of like, the Kleenex, the generic name for role-playing games. It's like, I'm playing Call of Cthulhu. Oh, really? So tell me, how long have you been playing Dungeons and Dragons? That sort of thing. But maybe please start with explaining to our audience, what is Chill?
Chill is a horror RPG. You take the role of an operative for an organization called SAVE, which is an acronym for something way too long for me to pronounce right now.
Yeah.
But basically, you go through and you're hunting the unknown. You're, hunting down werewolves, ghosts. I think they even have like a monster called the Creepy Old Lady who lives in a house down the road, and you throw eggs at her. That gets rid of her. It has some interesting times. But I fell in love with the one Mayfair did. And when I was, I want to say fresh out of high school, I went to the local comic store we used to have in Harrisburg called The Key. And a friend of mine was running it. And I just fell in love with it. I got all the books. So I was like, I must play this. And yeah, you can have your person might be able to have psychic powers if, of course, the Chill Master, which is what they call the DM for Chill, allows. But yeah, it's a great game about just everyday people getting together and facing the unknown, taking down a vampire lord, taking down the creature from the Black Lagoon, whatever the person can think of.
That's fantastic.
And it used percentile dice, which is funny because the lower you roll in the game, the better. That's when I would roll high on my percentiles. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't work.
Oh, that's great. Now, have you ever played Call of Cthulhu?
I have not got to play Call of Cthulhu yet. A friend of mine runs it, and he has invited me to play sometime whenever we all get to start getting together again. So I'm definitely going to play it.
I think you should. I looked into a really good group of storytellers and that. And what is unique about that is, like, a lot of games you survive by having like your health be high, or some other stat be high. In this one of your stats is sanity, because usually you encounter one of the Cthulhu types and your brain can't process it. And now this will show you what a role player I am. I'm usually in the game. I'm usually one of the highest sanity. So it's evidently not geared up towards reality. So, but no, then also, like Chill, it has seen several authors, several publishers.
Yeah.
So whereas, unlike something like, say, D&D has always been with, the original Gygax and now Wizards of the Coast. But
yeah, it was TSR and then Wizards. Yeah. I think Wizards of the Coast has owned D&D longer than TSR did. Now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I hadn't thought about that. James Silvinsky says, will there ever be a story in your future that has to do with a butter knife and a Swamp Thing toy? I sense a confession coming up in just a few seconds here, Rick.
If anything, okay. This turd.
Or valued member of our audience.
Right. He's 8 years younger than me, and he was basically like a little brother. He wasn't like a nephew. He was a little brother. He was over at the house all the time. Got spoiled by my dad. Got whatever he wanted. Mm-hmm. I had just bought myself a new Swamp Thing action figure. He came in, said he wanted it. Guess who walked out with the new Swamp Thing action figure? Because my dad was like, give that to that boy.
Oh boy.
And, yeah, then there was another night that he came in my room. He was holding a butter knife, and he just kept looking at me like he was going to try to stab me. And I'm like, "Are you what are you doing?" So yeah, JB, that might happen, and the kid might get his comeuppance.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I'm thinking here is a person that's 8 years younger than you standing in your doorway of your room with a butter knife with murderous intent. Now, if you can't find a story in that,
Yeah,
Rick, you're not
right,
trying.
right.
Yeah. And Cindy Kep, glad to see you, darling. Mwah, CKOEPB.com for the best newsletter in the entire world. Do I exist over here? Yes, Cindy, you do. And in our hearts as well. And again, if you're watching us on Facebook, and we have caught up with the comments. So if you're watching on Facebook and we have not read your comment yet, please come to YouTube. Come to the YouTube channel, because there is some sort of glitch that might be still going on with Facebook, that
I know
we are not seeing all the
yesterday,
comments. Yes, Rick.
while watching Nevermind the Furthermore, I was on your personal Facebook, and
Okay,
it wasn't loading that. But then I went over to the Rising Tide Publications Facebook,
okay.
which I think Cindy might have done that because I think she's got the Facebook icon there. So yeah, go look for Rising Tide Publications if it's not wanting to come through.
All right. Also try the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Just do a search for that, and it'll take you straight to that page too, because we broadcast there. Also on Kathy Jackson's books on Facebook. So, well, I know that Facebook has been meddling. I mean, bollocksing. I mean, changing the priority. Yeah, I know. You can tell I'm firmly ensconced on YouTube. I can talk about Mr. Zuckerberg this way, but no. Last few days I've been seeing other shows where and it might be people talking to us from my profile page. And I know that like a couple of years ago they were telling us, well, start your business page, like our Rising Tide Publications, and say make that the center of your world, and then share out from there. And then like a year ago they said, forget that, do everything on your personal page because security, because monkeys are flying out my butt. I don't believe it. Anyway, no, it's not related to Eric Hawkins' Zombie for World of Oz. But anyway, then we could share like from our personal page to the business page. And now it looks, my guess is that if that isn't a glitch, that it might be some other way to get, reprioritize where you should be getting your messages out to be sent. So anyway, Cindy Kep, you do exist on here, and we love you. We're glad you're here as always. And also you have a pile of jokes and questions on your other page. Copy and paste, okay? Copy and paste. We're relying on you, Cindy. And by the way, Cindy Kep will be on Clever Title Pending. Let me look in the Book of All Knowledge so you can get your calendars, people. This is important.
And your jokes ready.
And your jokes ready. Send your jokes to Cindy. That will be good. She will be on May 18th. Cindy Kep will be on that Tuesday, and we're looking forward to having her. She was on one of our earlier shows, and we've been remiss in not asking her back. So, in fact, I think May is going to be I think pretty much mostly people who have been on this program before. So, because we got to keep tabs on you, make sure you're doing okay. And Clyde Hall says, "Chills, the mean old neighbor lady. Very cool, sir. I still GM for groups with the Pace Setter version, but we've also worked in updated creatures from Mayfair." Okay, okay,
cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. I like that. That is very cool indeed. All right. So so when you aren't writing, you mentioned that if in a perfect world, pre My Sharona Miley Cyrus, it's like what did you do, to for inspiration? Where did you find your stories, and what was your geek social life like?
Oh gosh. Well, video games, of course. I play online with friends, or just play a good single player game to just kind of block out the rest of the world. I also started in the money pit, which is called Warhammer 40K.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so I love putting together the figures and painting them, which I got this little guy right here I painted.
Oh, very cool.
He was fun.
Yeah.
And Donovan, he's also in it with me, and he's got the Necrons, which it's not the Terminator. I don't know. Come on, camera, focus.
There we go.
But
Yeah.
I think I got better pictures on my profile, so
So go to Rick
But
Bradley's page on Facebook and don't leave any
Mhm.
comments or I'll never see them.
and I would do that. Of course, like Dungeons and Dragons and a bunch of other RPGs like that. So when I wasn't doing things with the family, that was pretty much what I was up to.
Very, very cool. And Cindy Cap is working under handicap there. It won't let her copy and paste. Facebook, get your act together, man. And can't even see all the comments. Man, that's rough. She's getting the swing of it now. Rick, you are now honored. You are blessed. You are getting jokes from Cindy Cap. Okay, that means she loves you. And why did the apple pie join the circus? It loved all the apples. Applause. Applause. Well done, young lady. Well done. And Cindy has always asked us, and this is, I think, an ongoing great question. And it is, what is your favorite techie tool? What helps you do what you do best?
I would just say the laptop itself. I mean, it's a great gateway to get any other tools that I want. So that and Microsoft Word, because that's where the stories go.
There you go. There you go. And from YouTube, we have Megan Duncan. Haha, successfully switched to YouTube. Very good, Megan. Rick, no pressure, but don't screw this up.
Uh-oh. All right. I won't.
Your legion of admirers are coming out tonight. Thank you, everyone who's coming out to help to support Rick. We really do appreciate it. And let's see, here we go. And just shot past it. Eric Hawkins asks, what are you using for washes on the figures? Craft paint, ink, or I see many people using oil washes now.
Whatever washes the Games Workshop comes out with, I pretty much get all my paints from there.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, it's like I'm hearing washes. Cookie, my wife used to paint figures. In fact, I just came across about 200 or 300 of them in the basement just this week. So from our move, so I'm thinking washes. I know washes in art, but Cindy kept knows jokes. She says, "Why did the pie go to a dentist? Because it needed a filling." I love it. And do people show up in your books? Well, there's about to be somebody's about to be bludgeoned with a butter knife soon. But have you written anyone into your books?
Not yet. Not yet. But I mean, we all remember Paul Bettany, Chaucer from A Knight's Tale. Gonna eviscerate him in his stories. Every bump, boil, pimple, everything. But no, I haven't got anyone that I know in there yet. People that I know have influenced some of the characters, but I haven't. I do have ideas for some people, and they're good. I'm not going to be that mean, but.
And Cindy asks now, what is a math teacher's favorite dessert? Pie. I love you, Cindy. CKOEPP.com. And which martial art did you teach, Rick?
It was kind of like a mixed form and had a little bit of everything thrown into it.
Okay, like
everything
what elements? What did you draw?
Taekwondo, Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai in it. Oh my gosh. I did some jujitsu, but with my short body and my little arms, I wasn't the best at it. But it was hard for them to get a hold of me because I was squirmy.
There you go. There you go. Now, are these all like I recognize jujitsu, which is kind of like a defensive art, a defensive martial art, correct?
It's grappling.
Grappling, karate is very similar to that, I know, as opposed to something like savate or kung fu, which is an aggressive one, an offensive one. So were these mostly defensive ones, or did you have some pushback into the martial arts that you taught?
For the kids, we mainly made a lot of it defensive. But I know some of the adult classes, we learned some things that I definitely am not going to teach a lot of people. But yeah, we learned how to take someone down pretty quickly, and that's even with like knives and sticks and all that. It was fun. I do miss it, but then of course time constraints and everything kind of pushed that out of the life for a while.
Hmm. Well, that brings me to a question that I frequently ask people when they say they want to write. I ask them sometimes, "What are you willing to give up to do it?" Did you have to give up anything in order to pursue your writing career? Like some activity that you
Well,
enjoyed doing, um, or was there something that you put on the back burner just so you could advance your writing career?
I haven't really given up a whole lot because mainly all I did was work and come home, play video games and stuff like that. I don't play video games anywhere near what I used to.
Yeah,
I don't, you know, funny enough, I don't read as much books as I used to because I'm too busy writing them.
right.
Um, and painting the figures, I don't do, I've got so many that I'm behind on with that. Watching, binge watching Netflix. I'm, I think I'm giving up on trying to get caught up on the Flash and Arrow and all those. I'm just like, it'll happen.
He can't get caught up on the
But
flash. I saw what he did there. Wordsmith, because word humor is the best. But next, it pales beside Cindy Kemp. How many pastry chefs does it take to make an apple pie? A equals 3.14. I love it. I love that. Cindy Kemp asks, do your ideas come from odd sources or do they appear randomly without a forwarding address?
oh gosh, I'd say a
Where do you
little of column A and column B.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you get your
Yeah.
crazy ideas, Rick?
um, I could be looking at something, or just I could just be driving down the road listening to the stereo, and my mind's wandering off. I'm still paying attention, guys. I'm driving,
Be
but
safe.
I'll think, man, this would be a great story. Oh my gosh, let me think about it, and I'll keep talking it over in my head, or I'll see something on TV that just a little comment someone would make, and I'd be like, I wonder what would happen if such and such did this, and hey, wait a minute, I can make it happen now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah,
Now, now,
little of both.
now, do you write them down when you get them, or do you speak them into your phone, or like a
Uh,
recording app, or how do you hold on to them until the time when you can develop them?
um, Funny enough, a lot of them, I don't know how they stay up here, but I still have decided after a while, I got a Word document on my phone, and as soon as it comes up here, it goes right there.
Very good. Very good. Cindy Kemp would like to know what is the most critical advice you have for a newbie writer?
Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you you don't really have anything to lose. Just write a story, and if someone doesn't like it, cool, take it somewhere else, or send it off yourself,
There
publish it
we
yourself.
There we go. Carl Winston asks, well, will we see you at the 2022 convention in Mattoon? SilCon, let's hope SilCon comes around again.
I hope so. I would love that. I want to do the convention. That would be that's another thing that I kind of made me fall in love with this thing is I want to see as many people as I can. I want to go out and do as much as I can. And conventions, yes, I want to meet everyone that I can.
Very cool. Now, I'm noticing Cindy Cap has done some conventions. Michaela Jade has done some conventions. Amy Hale and Eric Hawkins and I are doing one the 23rd and 24th of this month in Hannibal, Missouri, Big River Comic Con. Check them out on their Facebook page. And there's other exciting guests too that you'll be thrilled with. But we're going to be there, so we're the most thrilling there. I'm prejudiced about that. But anyway, are you looking at doing any shows this year, or are you going to sit it out because of the Peter pandemic?
Um, if anything comes up local enough, and I've got to order some more books as well,
Hmm.
and get my signage and everything, then oh yeah, I'd love to do one this year.
Cool, cool. About how far do you think you want to travel for it?
Uh, oh, see. because I work Monday through Friday all the time, and getting time off is such a blast.
Sure.
I mean, if it's something I could do, like a Saturday or Sunday and then come back, so nothing too crazy far.
Okay. We ought to talk. We ought to talk. Because I'm lining up some dates. So, Cindy Kemp asks, what is the worst advice that you ever received as a new writer? And it's okay to blame me.
Oh, that I don't know, because I got a lot of my advice from you guys.
Well, there you go. See. But I know a lot of writers that, myself included at various times, that get advice from people who do not participate in the writing game, but they know everything about it. Have you
Hmm.
ever gotten any of that?
Oh yeah, I've been told by some people before, don't do your book digital, or just do it like this.
Yeah.
But whenever I was told don't do it digital, I'm sitting there thinking, no, no, I'm okay with it digital, because if people can get it just like that, I mean, hey, that's
Mm-hmm.
just better for you. So yeah, I guess we'll say that. Don't go digital, which I love my physical copies, but
Yes,
hey, digital's a part of it too.
that's true, and a lot of people do like digital. You know, I keep saying that when I moved from Illinois to Indiana, it hit me when I was carrying like my sixth case of comic books up the 2 flights of stairs to get to the second floor of where the apartment was, and then I was carrying like my like a huge library under my arm and my Kindle. So I kind of pointed out the difference, just the weight difference. You know, it makes a difference with me. And enough people do digital. I tell people the best thing I heard on digital, and I tell other people this also: if you're not doing digital, you're leaving money on the table.
Hmm.
And there's all kinds of arguments, yes, for doing just paperbacks, but rarely does anyone review a book and say, boy, this book sure smells nice. If anything, they'll say
Which is
it's,
weird, because new books
yeah.
smell great.
New books smell awesome. Old books smell like ambrosia.
Hmm.
That's the siren aroma that would make me crash my ship on the rocks, metaphorically speaking. But then again, you can adjust the type on them too, which is very convenient for some of us elderly people. Cindy Cap would like to know, what is the genre, Rick, that you are least likely to write? What is the genre that you are like? You just say, why don't you do a story in this? And you're like, oh hell no, I won't. Or genres. There could be more than one.
To be honest, I don't know. Because I mean, I'm wanting to do everything I can. I even on I think on Amy Hill's show last week, I even said, "Hey, I'm willing to do romance. I want to try out everything."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's well. It's, you mentioned Stephen King, for instance. Stephen
Hmm.
King doesn't just do horror. He's done like crime stories. He's done nonfiction.
Hmm.
He's worked in a variety of genres. Isaac Asimov did more than just science fiction. J.K. Rowling wrote a murder mystery.
Hmm.
So I agree with you. I think it's good to have different genres and flex your muscles and see what you can pull in from like one genre into the one that you generally feel comfortable with. Eric Hawkins says, I'm going to try to guess Rick's age here. Rick, did you or do you still have tabby boots? And part 2, do you know of Sho Kasugi? I do know that one.
Never had tabi boots.
Yeah.
I can't stand anything between my toes.
I can see that.
And Sho Kasugi. Oh gosh, that sounds so familiar.
If I
I
remember,
can't think.
oh, Eric, if I'm remembering correctly, Lee Van Cleef is the answer, right? Sho Kasugi, if I'm remembering correctly, was a martial artist, of course, a highly renowned one, and he was the reason to watch a very short-lived series called The Master, where Lee Van Cleef.
Oh,
Did you ever see that?
oh, forever and a day ago.
Yeah, so I want to say
Yeah.
it's back in the 70s or 80s. If somebody wants to IMDb that, I would welcome it. But I remember Lee Van Cleef was the guy, was the main actor. And of course, he'd wear a full hood over his face, and you could always tell when Sho Kosugi was there because there's Lee, moving like a normal human, and there's Sho Kosugi, who you're thinking now they're cutting frames between the films. Like, nobody can move that fast, So,
Right.
so yeah, it was a great show just for the martial arts choreography. Now as a former martial artist, there's shows like Kung Fu: The Adventure Continues, and now a revival of Kung Fu, plus the Bruce Lee films, Jackie Chan. Do you have any? Do you enjoy watching martial arts films?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Okay. Does the fact that you taught them, does that color your like the choices in that genre?
Not. I mean, there's sometimes I'll notice something, and it's just me and Megan and her husband, who, funny enough, his name is Bradley, which is great because the Bradley connection. No,
There we go.
we would watch something and we were like, oh man, that's not going to work that way, except for John Wick. Everything on John Wick is awesome. Those 3 movies, the fighting is just, the choreography is just perfect. I mean, I could watch those 3 all the time.
I'm with you. I'm a Jackie Chan fan from way back when.
Oh yeah.
And Sammo Hung. I always like Sammo. So and he also had a joke that I really can't say on the air that we find funny. Remind me at the end of the after show. We'll talk about it. Cindy Cap says, "What do you get if you divide the circumference of a bowl of ice cream by its diameter? Pie a la mode." Keep them coming, Cindy. Thank you for those. And who led all the apples to the bakery? The Pie Piper. Brian Rodman, BrianRodman.com, Memoirs of an Angel, coming to you soon. The most important thing one can learn regarding martial arts. You okay there, Rick?
I read it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You read it.
Okay. The most important thing one can learn regarding martial arts is don't go Judy chopping and ninja kicking at the same time, because if you do, there go your leg. It's really bad when everyone was kung fu fighting. But anyway, and we just had the comment.
Fast as lightning.
That's right. It may be a little bit frightening, but they did it with expert speed. Cindy Cap asks, what can a whole apple pie do that half an apple pie can't do? It can look round. Oh, Cindy Cap wants to know, do you collect a thing?
I do. Actually, you can see back there behind me. I love classic games. Nintendo, Atari. I want to get as many of those as I can. That's not even my whole collection up there. I still got some behind here. I've got also like 4 or 5 copies of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it's a good game, right?
Right. Now, why do you own multiple copies of a game?
If I buy like a lot of games, it could have, numerous ones in there. If it's got a couple that I have, cool, I'll just resell them later, to pick up more games. So, or because I have also multiple systems, like oh gosh, I don't even know how many NES systems I have. A lot of them are broken. I'm going to repair them, at some point in time. But I mean, I know for like Aliana, I want to give her first Nintendo with Super Mario Brothers and everything. So.
Oh, that's sweet. That's good parenting. And Brian Rodman would like to know, what is your favorite beard product? Now, you have a pretty spiffy beard there. Now, Brian Rodman, of course, is the god of beards. He can deny it all he wishes, but I feel woefully inadequate compared to you two.
I mean, I'll be honest. I see Brian on here, and I'm thinking, damn, I really like his beard.
Yeah, I know.
Funny enough, I don't use any product. I just kind of let it go.
You're just naturally beautiful, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I thought so. And Cindy, I think we answered this one. Do you plan to go to cons when the world reopens?
Oh
We're
yeah.
getting there. We're getting there. I'm going to see what
hmm
I can do to get him there. In fact,
And Donovan already said he wants to go with me, so I'm like, sweet, I got someone to load and unload things.
there we go. There we go. That's what I need, a young person that doesn't know any better. And Cindy Cap, what do you get when you cross an apple pie with a shellfish? A crab apple pie. Okay, now Cindy has a serious question here. And this is constantly debated among writers. But is writer's block a thing? Do you ever get jammed up, Rick? Or, do you ever get like, oh, God, I want the words to come, but they won't?
It does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. But that's one of those things I just keep hammering at it until something comes out. Even if it's garbage, hey, at least there's something out there I can be like, no, this needs to change.
There you go. There you go. Now, what do you think? Now, most people, there is a reason why they have, and I'm air quoting only, but I do believe it is a thing with some people. But what causes yours? Some people do have a thing that prevents them from making the leap from here to here. So what do you have one? Have you identified it yet?
I'd say stress would definitely be one of them. If I've got my mind preoccupied with, like, okay, I've got this much on the check. Okay, I got to pay this bill, this bill, this bill. Crap, how much are we going to have left for this? Then, like, it just kind of eats away and pushes everything else out. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Cindy Kep would like to know, what's the best thing to put into an apple pie? The answer is your teeth.
I will agree.
That's true. By the way, Golden Corrals are opening up again, and they have great apple pie. I found out the other day. And Brian Rahman says, it's like Mitch Hedberg said about coming up with good material. If an idea comes to you at 2 a.m. and you're too tired to write it down, just convince yourself it's not good.
My fake plants died because I did not pretend to water them. Oh gosh, I miss Mitch Hedberg. He was great.
Oh my God, what a great comedian. I do too. But yeah, that's a good point, because I have found for a while that before I figured out my cell phone a little better than I did what I do now, I would driving long miles, you have nothing to do but think, and I would come up with all these story ideas and try to write them down. I finally learned to keep a notepad with me, just scribble enough that I could recall it later. Like keywords and stuff like that. Then I finally figured out the thing about, well, you've got a tape recorder in your phone, you idiot. Speaking to myself. And then, that helped a lot when I remembered to go back and listen to it. That's the next step. Yeah. So, but you got to take advantage of the technology. And Eric Hawkins says, don't forget Amy is one of the artists for the sketch battles at Big River Comic Con. Amy's going to draw in that? Holy cats. Really?
Man, look how multi-talented she is.
I know. Well, you saw the the new intro to this show.
Yeah.
Amy did that for me. Seriously.
I love just watching how clever title pinning has changed and evolved in just the, year and a half that I've been watching.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we've been an interview show really for about a year now, I think. In fact, I have the book of all knowledge here. I can tell you exactly. It was April 28th, so we were just shy, about 2 weeks shy of the 1-year anniversary, and it was Jackie Nelson. We love you, Jackie. Mwah. And we got to get you back on here too. But yeah, that's when we changed this to an interview show, and I've been very happy with it. So I'm hoping everyone else enjoys it. But if you want to see what Amy Hale did, and she's not only an incredibly talented writer and a dear friend, but she also does this for fun. Please check out part of what she did, and you'll have. And so you'll have to stick around to maybe we'll run the other the other starter or not? I don't know. We haven't decided yet. We
Hmm.
have time. But it's not like I could fill the whole hour with this thing. Or maybe I could. See, it's got Rick dancing. It's got him, tapping his toes. He's going to be dancing on the ceiling, just like Lionel Richie. And Clyde Hall says, "Is there anything you use to get into the horror story frame of mind? Priming the horror creativity pump? Certain music? Watching a scary series? Rereading a favorite horror story?
Uh,
What gets you going, Rick?"
yeah, a little bit of all those. But if I really want to get some good horror going, I just look at the news of what's going on in the real world. I'm like, oh, that's scary.
Yeah. Well, in all seriousness, I don't remember who said it, but there was a writer who said, it may have been Stephen King, in fact, that about taking current day events and using them as springboards for stories. And the line was something like, if you can read the entire front section of the New York Times and not come up with 4 or 5 different story ideas, you're not trying.
Right.
In fact, what was it? I read I keep telling people I've got hoopla.com, which is a library service that
I
ties
love
into
that
your.
thing.
Oh, I
that's
do
great.
too. Oh my God, that's how I keep up on things. But they had an anthology of horror stories from the 50s that I just got through reading. And let's just say you could tell these guys were waiting to get out of the field and into something that actually paid. Because I found myself reading these stories and thinking, that's a crappy story. Here's how I'd have done it. So I wrote down. So I've got like about a dozen different horror story ideas because,
Hey, there you go.
yeah, see, so even other writers can inspire you too. So get your inspiration while you can, kids. And Cindy Kep says, and if you are in this part of the world, check out QuadCon. Some of them might be in the ranges of a day trip. I was going to suggest QuadCon to you. They do. They just got through doing a show in Madison, Wisconsin, but I know they go like down into like Nebraska and through Missouri and Illinois. I know there's at least 2 in Springfield, Illinois. Okay,
Right.
which is not that far from you.
No.
Maybe a couple hours, maybe ish.
Yeah, 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get to the same one, we're going to hit the restaurants. I used to spend a lot of time in Springfield, so we'll get you a real haystack. So Cindy Cap says, what kind of pie has a short temper? A crab apple pie. They're back. And Eric Hawkins says, pirates love digital, but that is just the risk we have to take sailing the high seas.
Hey, if you're you're getting stolen from like that just means you hit big time.
There you go. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm currently pirated in China and in Russia. And I remember the first time I saw one of my books on Pirate Bay. I was so excited. I really was. I like, this is great. Somebody's stealing from me. And I was like, I've arrived. Somebody took notice of my work, and what is it? Neil Gaiman had a blog entry about 2 or 3 years ago where somebody asked him about digital, and he used to do the digital rights management letters, send them out, and then somebody posts it again like an hour later after the site takes it down. And he said that he also found that a lot of his stuff was being picked up. I don't know how he found out, but anyway, but it's a great story anyway. But they were in countries where there are not many bookstores, like India, for instance, or parts of Africa where people want to read, people know the language, and yet they can't get the books because they don't live anywhere close to a library or a bookstore. And he's, Neil Gaiman said he didn't worry about it anymore. He said, worry more about obscurity. So, and if you're not, so I guess I'm not obscure because I got people stealing my stuff. There's something wrong with me. And Brian Rodman says, Brian, Eric, and Clyde, we should add the book scene to our reviews this week on Comic Book Spectrum. That's not a horrible thought. Comic Book Spectrum is one of those shows that is still evolving, so we might do that. We might do that. And Eric Hawkins goes, Brian Rodman, great idea. So Brian, Eric, let's talk about it. We've got a little thread going where we talk about that. And Eric Hawkins, so it is written, so it shall be done. See, they don't even need me.
Right?
Yeah, I'm about as useful to this. Useful to this group is like a sixth wheel or something. And Cindy Kep says Sho Kasugi was very good in that show. My goodness, yes, he really was. Eric Hawkins says 80s, the height of the ninja fad. Yeah, Sho was in several ninja movies in the 80s. I had my Tebai boots until about 10 years ago. I understand that. I still have all my old disco records, so yeah, we get it. Now, Cindy Cap noted that you are a video gamer, Rick, and she asked, what's your favorite console game?
Oh. This little thing right here.
Okay. And The Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Now, what makes that your favorite?
It was just so different when it came out. You know, you had Super Mario Brothers where you're just going from one end of the stage to the other, get the most points you can, stomp on turtles, cool. But Legend of Zelda had a bit of a storyline to it. It had secrets. You know, you could go through, throw a bomb, might miss an enemy, but you know, it lands, hits a wall. All of a sudden there's a cave there you didn't know about. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And you go in there and there's like a heart container, you get more life, or might even be a bad guy there giving you rupees, you know, their form of money. I mean, there was just so much to explore in that game. And that I played it before I even had a Nintendo. And when I wasn't playing it, I was still thinking about it. I would draw out the maps. You know, I had the board game. I'd play that constantly. So yeah, once I played that, I was just a gamer for life.
I hear you. Now, do you collect, with your games, you mentioned board games and such, do you collect all the Ephemia, or all the tie-in products, because like I've seen some games now have like the Funko Pops for them. And here's something, if you like Legend of Zelda, Rick, there used to be a comic book mini series of it.
Yep. I also have the DVD set of the Legend of Zelda cartoon that came on with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
That's right.
Came on every Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. It coined the term, "Excuse me, princess." And it was horrible, but I love it. And it is so near and dear to my heart.
I hear you. Now, Brian Rodman has a probing question here. What is your favorite comic book, and why is it Memoirs of an Angel?
I mean, how could it not be?
Exactly.
Gosh.
Yes,
Actually,
available at brianrodman.com. Not that I've memorized
now,
it.
Whenever I get my copies of it, because I did back that Kickstarter, and I was like, oh, well, issue 7. Okay, there's the one with all of them. Cool. I'll go ahead and do that. I'm sure it'll definitely be up there. But my favorite comic book would probably be the Infinity Gauntlet series when it first came out. Because it was just,
Starlin.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, not just world shattering, it was universe shattering. I mean, everything got just thrown, however, in the Marvel Universe for those 6 issues.
Very cool. Yeah, that was a great series. That really was. And Cindy Cap wants to know, have you ever rolled the score on a console game?
Back when I was a lot younger and I played Pac-Man all the time, it wasn't on the console, it was actually at the arcade. I could play through all the levels with just 1 quarter. Granted, I was like in kindergarten, but one of my fondest memories was a laundromat that mom would take the laundry to, and they had Pac-Man, and so she'd give me quarters to go play on it. So little 5-year-old me on a chair playing Pac-Man, surrounded by all these high school girls. Oh yeah, I had it back then.
You stud.
but they were just like, oh my gosh, look how far he's getting. I played that game so much. I'd get all the little pellets and leave the 4 power pellets, let the ghost get near me, get the power pellet, eat all of them, wait for them to come back, get it again. And I mean, I that game was mine. Of course, now I played it recently and I got nowhere near as good.
And to what do you attribute that? Like, old man reflexes that I've had all my life, or what?
I would
Lack of
say
practice?
that coupled with, lack of practice, and my reflexes aren't what they used to be.
That's true. Well, you also don't have like teenage girls hanging around you too. There's your
I
incentive,
know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now if I do,
yeah, I'll go quietly, officer. Yeah. Yeah, remind me not to be sitting next to you when you go on the road. Anyway, Cindy Cat would like to know, what do you get when you take the sun and divide its circumference by its diameter? Pie in the sky.
Yes.
I love that. And how many grams of protein are in an apple pie? 3.14. A whole bunch of numbers there that my eyes can't handle right now. But that's all. I love that. That's awesome. Oh, and Rick Bradley. Now, Rick. Now this, I know the answer. Do you cosplay? Now, when we met, like you said, you were doing, modern day Thor. So, was that your first cosplay, or do you cosplay as a fun thing, or what?
I would love to cosplay more than I have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've cosplayed as Deadpool. I've done a few variations of Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I was Deadpool. I've been Pokemon trainer Deadpool. And
oh god, I can imagine.
That was a blast. I my backpack, I had my iPod. I had the Pokemon theme song and Weird Al Yankovic's Pokemon Polkarama, which just said the first 151 of them over and over for Polka. Had that on repeat, carrying a Charmander, and that was funny. I think that was the first time I met Yuri Renfro.
Yeah,
he was Batman. Oh, and so I was like, I was gonna throw the Pokeball at him and capture him, and he was just like, he posed with me. He's a great guy.
Oh, he is. Was that the Red Sun Batman? The Russian one?
I think that year it was just the regular Batman.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because Yuri's done a Red Sun Batman that you can see from 50 feet away. Yeah.
How much
care he took in that. Yeah, seriously. We
love you, Yuri. I've done Deadpool cosplaying as Wolverine. Mm-hmm. And I've done Wolverine also. Mm-hmm. Just shave right down here and I got it. There you go. I've done a couple video game characters, and I want to do more. I love it.
That's fantastic. That is great. Cindy Cap asks, why did the apple pie cry? Its peelings were hurt. Oh my god, that's awesome. Now Carl Witzman asks, why not? I fill 20 minutes with a video of a girl spraying beer all over herself accidentally. Well, that's true. That's true. And Kamiko, wherever you are, I still miss you. I love you. But of course, we'd never do the simple thing, just follow it up with that video that we love. Because we have more dignity than that. Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, dignity. Always dignity. And Brian Rahman says, what is your favorite horror story? That's an excellent question.
I would say it was a series. Brian Limley did Necroscope.
Yep.
And he's got 5 books in the main series, and he's got some offshoots with it. But yeah, that was just an amazing series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously, that was good. And Carlene's perks up. Springfield restaurants have to go to the Chesapeake Seafood House. I agree. That's a great place. There's also a place on the south side where they serve the Haystack, which is like French fries and usually some sort of meat, and then top it with a tangy queso sauce. And it's, it was the original place where you can get that. They also have a place called Cozy's on the southwest side where they created the corn dog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they're great. Yeah. And there was also, I don't know if it's still there, but there was a barbecue place not far from not far from Chesapeake, actually. That made that used to be on that Adam Richman show, Man v Food. And it was a place where they served like 6 increasingly hot sauces, higher up the Scoville range. And I had the medium one, and Cookie tells me I turned the color of my fez like within 5 seconds. And
I'll admit,
yeah,
I am a wimp when it comes to hot, spicy things. There's sometimes I'll get a McChicken from McDonald's, and they got a lot of pepper in this patty.
Oh, I understand. And Cindy Cap has done the research for us. Thank you, Cindy Cap. The master was 1984, and there is the Internet Movie Database listing for that show. We'll have to check that out later. And I remember that show. I miss it. It's probably somebody's put it up on YouTube, I would wager. Clyde Hall says, I didn't get to vote. Okay, yes, let's do it. Comic book specters. And here I am going, wait for me. Of course, I could talk about my books all for the whole hour. Anyway, book sent, not seen on Comic Book Spectrum, you silly. What? You silly man, smell the comics and rate them. Oh my God. Okay, this has, I thought it said seen, but no, I could see that. There is a comic book right now, that we tease the creator because there's something in the ink that I guess, what was it? Somebody had gotten it in the mail, opened up the bag, and it's like tear gas coming out of it.
Oh,
this weird scent. It's this weird scent from the ink. He let it air out in the hallway, and I think his wife told him, put that in the garage. Until that thing airs out. There's just, and we finally convinced him to, hi Russell Leach, we love you. And it's a book called And Only Death Can Save Us. And apparently that's what it smells like. It's a scratch and sniff thing, I guess. But anyway,
without even having to scratch it.
I know. Yeah, you just pull it out of the bag and woof, but it's supposedly a terrific story, but I'm afraid to order that thing because Cookie will be climbing my case if I make the house smell like that. So, but yeah, we could do that. We could do comic book aromas. That's the way we segue into doing reviews of back issues. I like that. And Eric Hawkins would like to know, what is your favorite comic book and why is it the Zombie World of Oz? A theme is beginning to emerge, Rick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will say, whenever I got the first issue of Zombie World, I actually got it from Eric at the Saluki Con.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I got it home, and I'm like, okay, I got this. Brian said it was good. Eric's an awesome guy. Just talking to him a little bit. It's like, I like him. Mm-hmm. But, oh my gosh, zombies. They're just everywhere. By the end of it, I'm like, okay, where's issue 2? I need that right now. Give me issue 2. I mean this, everyone. If you like comics or even just stories in general, or breathing, okay, just go get his comic.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and Eric is ramping up for another crowdfunding campaign for issue 3, and he's already hard at work on issue 4. So, very good. Yeah, I gotta agree.
Need anyone to proofread or beta read it, Eric? Holler at me, man. I got you.
He's already got an editor. You know what I'm saying?
2 heads are better than 1.
That's true. But anytime you need another backup story, it's like, what was your favorite? And this is where I ask, Rick, what was your favorite story in the Zombie World of Oz, and why was it the 4-page backup in issue 2? So that sort of thing. But what's your favorite pulp novel, and why? Never mind. So moving on, Mark Leonard, good to see a professor. The professor is in the house. All right, flashing the Georgetown colors of purple and white. Glad to see you, Mark. Hope you and the family are having a great night. Cindy Cap asks, is Deadpool your favorite superhuman? That's a good question.
Actually, it's Spider-Man.
Okay, why Spider-Man?
He reminds me of me.
You cling to
I'm
walls?
thin and muscular like him. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, no.
Yeah, and you date sleep with a supermodel, right?
I mean, the only thing that she's not redheaded, but she's still gorgeous. So
yeah, but you still.
I did, but he reminds me a lot because growing up, I had my friends, and I don't want to say crazy sheltered or crazy, but I still wasn't as outgoing, definitely as I am now. Kind of like him, I was the wallflower until I got my superpowers, which was theater, and I got to, humor is also my self defense. Um, I quip at the most inopportune times, and
No
but
idea what you're talking
and
about.
right. But
Yeah.
I also love the fact that, yeah, he could toss a city bus down the block. He could stick to walls. He could do everything a spider can. Yet he was still like, oh crap, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay the bills? You know, oh, I need to go take care of Aunt May. I need to do this. And I'm like, he, at the time for me, he was the most human, superhuman
Hmm.
out there,
Yeah.
even more than Batman. I'm sorry. I love Batman, but I mean, he's like, yep, all my problems, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Parker couldn't spend his way out of a dilemma like Bruce Wayne can. Good points. Now you just mentioned you did theater. What kind of theater did you do?
Did high school and in college. My first play I was in was a version of Robin Hood where I played three different characters.
Hmm.
The first character was Yorick, a old jester for Prince John,
Hmm.
and I died in the first scene. I got the hiccups doing a joke, and so I put a bag over my head because that's how you get rid of hiccups, right? It's the
Right,
bag over
right.
the head. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it got stuck, so I suffocated, and I'm passed out on the floor. And the biggest concern for me, I'm laying there, and I'm like, don't breathe, because I didn't want everyone on stage to see the dead guy going.
yeah.
And then I got to play Yorick's replacement, who was Grok, a younger jester, but he didn't speak a lick of English. One of my lines was Regoofki Biyuka, and that was the joke. So I had a translator with me,
Uh-huh.
got a bottle smashed over my head, which which that was hilarious. We didn't have enough bottles to do like a dress rehearsal with them. We just had enough for the performances.
Mhm.
So the first night we're performing, the bottle's on this rickety table on stage,
Oh no.
and while I'm doing lines with Prince John, he does one thing where he like points, to get me to look away, and as I turn, I see everyone, the entire cast in the wings. How you see in the old like
Yeah.
uh Little Rascals or whatever, where there's one head then another,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Uh-huh.
just a wall of heads.
Yeah.
They were all there just waiting for it to fall. And then, of course, I turn back and get smashed. But, and then I also played Flint, who was a legless beggar.
Oh,
So I got
nice.
to, wheel myself around in a cart.
Mhm.
During one of the scenes as Flint, everyone's up talking. And I'm thinking, oh crap, my legs are asleep.
Oh, no.
Because I'm sitting on them the entire scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, next scene, I got to be Grok and do a cartwheel and somersault. This is not going to be fun. But I didn't fall down or make a total, butt of myself.
Yeah.
And then from there, I played so many different things. I love playing the villains. The villains
Uh-huh.
are like the best thing to play.
Oh yeah. Now, have you done community theater?
I have not done community theater.
Hmm.
I would love to. And I love telling the story.
Mhm.
Andrea and I, on one of our first dates, went to the uh, Market House Theater over in Paducah, and they
Oh yeah.
had a dinner theater murder mystery.
Mhm.
And so the guy who was playing the director came around to everyone's table and was like, "Hey, have you ever wanted to be on stage? Would you like to be in a play?" And
Mhm.
so Andrea's like, "Oh, he would," pointing at me. And he's like, "Well, how do you do with accents?" I'm like, "Oh, I could do accents if you want to, Governor. Whatever you want." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, what about Russian?" I'm like, "Oh, you want the Russian? I give you Russian." And so I got to go on stage
Yeah.
and act, and it was hilarious because they're taking just regular people out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Later on, I had people coming up to me congratulating me on a show well done, and I'm like, I wasn't in the group, but they thought I was. And the people in the play, he came up and he was like, you gave me nothing to work with, man. I was supposed to correct you on things, but you did everything perfect.
Damn you, Rick!
And
Damn you!
I know, right? And I guess I don't know if she was the actual director or like just one of the big people at the theater.
Mhm.
She said, "You need to come back and audition." And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, if I was not an hour away, I would in a heartbeat because I love the stage. It's just, I mean, I get to go out there, make people laugh, make people go, I mean, it's like writing a book, but it's the more, immediate reaction.
Right, right. Well, and like with D&D, I think theater helped me because I did theater for about 12 years, and I still do acting every now and then. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of fun. It helps you get into somebody else's head when you start thinking about the character's backstory and all. It's not
Hmm.
like I'm one of those method actors, God knows, but it's just kind of fun to just kind of psychoanalyze them so you can get a hook on how to play them.
Hmm.
No, I could see you being in plays. I think that'd be cool. Do they have any in Marion or Carbondale? Any groups that you know?
Um, they do have a theater in Marion, but I think with the whole Peter pandemic thing,
Oh yeah,
that's kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's true of our local theater here too. So. But we're only about 5 hours away from you, Rick. Give it some thought. Anyway, Cindy Cap says, if it took 6 kids 1 hour to eat all the apple pies in the bakery, how many hours would it take 3 kids? Answer, none, because the 6 kids ate them all up already. So
Who are these kids? And where are they at? Because I'm going to beat them up for some apple pie. I'm
that's
hungry
right,
now.
by God. Now, I wasn't hungry before I started the show, but now, uh, we've got some apples downstairs. I might get to them before Cookie comes home.
Mhm.
Brian Rodman says, ahem. What is your favorite crossover comic, and why is it the Zombiful World of Memoirs of an Angel?
Wizard of Oz crossed with zombies and Lord of the Rings meets The Exorcist. I mean, come on. That's just a match made in heaven.
Oh yeah. Only if I get to write it. Anyway, Eric Hawkins says, haystack, you mean horseshoe, and pony shoe. Pony shoe is for sissies. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Haystack is what other restaurants call that concoction, but you're right. Thank you for correcting me, Eric. It is horseshoe, and the light, that's the high test one with the really hot stuff in it. Whereas the pony shoe is less aggressive, shall we say. So, and I was wondering the same thing. I'm going to get it wrong, Carlene. And a new line of scratch and sniff comics. Not this one, from what I hear. But I hear it's excellent. We love you, Russ Leach. If you're listening,
That's when digital's good.
there we go. Yeah, that's a good reason to get digital. See, I know what I'm doing. And Michaela J. Mwah! Hey, everyone. I'm late for a very important date with 2 dashing gentlemen. Well, hello there. Hello, Michaela.
How you doing?
How you doing, darling? Anyway, we're glad to have you here. Also, check out Michaela Jade at 7 p.m. on Friday nights on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Please subscribe to her YouTube channel because she does tidbits and scribbles, and it's always a great, great show. Please check it out. And that Nadim cry, Rick. Thank you. And Michaela Jane said 6 watching and 13 likes. Now that's more like it. There we go. And if you're listening to us on Facebook on the Brian K. Morris profile page, get the hints to the Rising Tide Broadcasting page so that I can read your comments. Let's check and see if I have any. Let's see, any sort of other comments. Yes, I did call that up when it was brought to my attention because I am a good host, but we'll refresh that page. And Carl saying, hey, Michaela. Hey there, Carl. See, I like implying things that are just not in reality. Clyde Hall, Rick, what is your favorite? Oh God, what is your favorite pulp story, and why is it real one for the B-Man in pulp reality #1? What do you mean it's not because it's Mercury Rising instead? It couldn't be. What were you thinking, Clyde Hall?
And also, Joe Mercury for Mercury Rising will return in Pulp Reality #3.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So.
Well, besides, everybody knows that these guys are making fun of him when everything it should be Captain Hawkland and the Clockwork Buccaneer. That's what I'm saying. That's the real star of the show. But anyway, not that I have a preference. And Clyde Hall says, Rick, what's your okay, it's a double thing there. He wanted to make sure
Deja vu.
It is. It's like stereo, but for your eyes. And hey, Michaela, and blah, from Eric Hawkins being evil. And no horseshoe and pony short sizes. Well, when I was there, though, they left out things from the pony shoe. They might have changed that, or I might not have been paying attention. That's more likely. Angie Dudas, mwah. Oh, this is an interesting show compared to the morning show. Thanks, Angie.
It's got me in this one. That's why.
Yeah, and Rick's in the morning show. He's there every morning, Angie. So it must be the host. We got a new host for the nighttime show. That must be it. Cindy Cap, do you have non-writer hobbies? Well, you've mentioned gaming.
Yeah, gaming, painting.
Yeah.
Let's see, not really a ton more hobbies than mainly the gaming and the painting.
There you go. No time with writing, right?
Right.
Yeah. And Cindy Cap asks, what did the apple pie say after Thanksgiving? Good pie, everyone. And now Cindy's getting into the act. What's your favorite Doc Saga story?
Try Not to Laugh by Rick Bradley.
Yeah, there we go. And we've just failed. Ouch. And Little Song. Okay, I guess she froze. Anyway, we now have the comment dump. Eric Hawkins, Carlene. I'm pretty sure Brian has never had a horseshoe or pony shoe. Yes, I have. But do you know how? Just realize how long ago it was. It's probably been about 15 years now. So my memory fades with time. And Brian Rodman says, I love that the Comic Book Spectrum crew is just roasting the program. Yeah, it's great. Check out more shenanigans this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern as we sniff comics and throw them across the room.
I will warn you about the show, though.
Yes.
That if everyone watching,
yes,
you're going to want to buy comics. I blame Brian Rodman for me going and open up a whole, folder at Castle Perilous here. Because now I was like, I need everything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because The Last Ronin was amazing.
That's a great book. That seriously
is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have to say that it's expanded my horizons as well. And Cookie's going to want to word with those three. That's all there is to it. But please check us out. Comic Book Spectrum, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, where we start out with reviews of current comics, stuff that you can turn around and pick up at your local comic vendor or online. One of the two. It has to be out before we review it. But I'm gonna have to find some aroma-filled comic books, which I've got some enough old stuff in my basement that gives me a lot of room to maneuver and a little more sauce and sass. We're saucy and we're sassy, Angie. You just hang on.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah. And what do you get when you cross a snake with a pie? A pie thought. You're the best, Cindy. And Eric Hawkins, yeah, I think you're right. And Eric, don't tell him. It just encourages him. And Comic Book Spectrum, says Brian Rodman, where we make you poor but happy. Do you love comics? We do. And it's just like a dope dealer. The first one's usually free, and we do prey on the young. Mm-hmm. But please check out that show. If you like comic books, please check it out, and please bring your questions for us because we do have audience participation. So, Brian Rodman. I'm looking at Brian, but I'm talking to Rick. And Cindy Cap, what do you get when you cross an apple pie with a Christmas tree? Pineapple pie. Pineapple pie. Okay, anyway, the joke show.
Pineapple.
I know. Now we want pineapple and comic books. Right. And we went on pizza. I don't care what anyone says. So Now you mentioned that you now have a draw at your local at Castle Perilous, who, by the way, rocks totally. We love you, comic.
Mhm.
We love you, Scott. And what other books are on your pull list, and why?
Right now, just the Last Ronin and the ongoing Ninja Turtle series.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm trying to step back as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah, but more than likely, more things will be added soon.
Yeah, that's the way of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started out at my local comic vendor, and I said I just need 5 books. 5 books is all I asked for.
Mhm.
So anyway,
And then after a while, you're like, y'all got any more of them comic books?
yeah, yeah, and then pepper things with the staples in them. I need more. So yeah, I feel you. And Carl Wilson says, so Rick, what's your next project? What you working on now? What's on your plate?
Working on the horror anthology with Brian, Charles, Amy, Kathy, and Jen. And I'll get a title out soon after I get all the pertinent information to the authors that need it. And Eden Falls, book 1. So,
There you go. How far along are you with the Eden Falls book 1?
not very. I've got, gosh, I want to say about maybe 1,000 words down, but that's 1,000 more than I had. So,
Exactly. Very good, very good. And Brian Rodman would like to know, Rick, what was the first horror story? I'm going to think it's horror story rather than a horror store. I've been in a few of those though. What was the first horror story that captivated
well, horror store, Walmart. It's scary in there. I mean, they wouldn't let me out.
you?
Uh,
Ooh.
but I think the first horror story that really got me would be Nightmare on Elm Street. I was in second grade, and they asked about my favorite movie, and that's what I wrote down. It just, I was like, this is so cool, you know? I mean, you can jump in your dreams and do all this. And
Mhm.
they kind of gave me strange looks whenever they brought the paper back around. They asked me, my teacher asked me, she's like, do you watch stuff like this? It's like, it's a guy in a rubber mask. What's he going to do? Yeah, I could keep the story and the reality separate. So,
Yeah. Well, I suspect it's more the idea that somebody's allowing you to watch Freddy Krueger and you're only in second grade. That's the sort of thing that parent-teacher conferences are made of, you know?
well, it's hilarious. My mom, she was 4'10",
Mhm.
and if you walked into her house, she would see teddy bears, angels, butterflies, crypt keeper, pictures of the family. You know, we we would get the goriest movies we could find and watch them, and that's how we spent our weekends.
Mhm. Mhm. I love it. I love it. And Carl, we appreciate your desperate attempt to try to bring the topic back around again. Thank you, sir.
Topic schmopic.
That's right. That's right. And Cindy Kep agrees. Retail is scary. Yes. And Brian Rodman wants to know, when will you be writing your first comic book?
That I don't know. I would love to definitely write a comic book. So whenever I come up with any ideas, I'll have to shoot some lines out to people.
There you go. We'll hook you up. We'll hook you up. And Brian Robin says, and you answered it correctly, Rick. Walmart is the horror stores, the horror stories, and all horror stories. But good eye, Brian. I can't spell. That is why I surround myself with editors. I am fluent in autocorrect, so yeah, I'm getting that way too. Hooked on autocorrect. It's shirking for me. But anyway, so we are nearing the end of the 2 hours, Rick. Now, what did we forget to ask you?
Uh,
What is the question you
I
really
don't
wish
know. Maybe I
that
forgot.
someone? Oh, yeah, how to get a better memory, perhaps.
Yes,
No.
yes, that would be good.
What is the one question that you have wanted to answer that no interviewer has ever asked you?
Man, now that's a toughie.
See, I promised you softballs, and then I give you that, right?
Right, right.
I know.
And I was like, oh, softball, medicine ball. Ah.
Lesson 4, defend yourself. Learn to catch. And Cindy Kemp says, who makes the best apple pies in the family? Granny Smith does. Well played, Cindy. Well played. CKOEPP.com for the best newsletter and a really terrific website. And she's writing comics now, too.
Yeah.
She is doing the graphic novel adaptation of her latest novel, Animalize. So please check it out. I've read the first story already. It's awesome. She did a good job. So, and if you signed up for her Patreon page, you would know that because we got to see it because we're Patreon supporters. So anyway,
some point in time, I'm going to start that up too.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, I had mine for about 4 or 5 years before I actually got serious about it. And I started spiffing it up. And it's like, I made a mention of it one morning on Nevermind the Furthermore, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, #always promote. And I don't care what Angie Dudas says. I like that show. The host is awesome. But anyway, no, but it's like, I just mentioned it one morning. Next thing I know, I see people signing up for it. And it's like, oh crap, now I got to make it look good. So
it's like, now I got to do something.
That's right. Damn it. Eric Hawkins says, I think you and Amy should team up to write. There we go. Now, have you ever thought about doing collaboration with any of your peers?
With all of you, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to. Yeah. So holler at me if anyone, ideas. We'll talk.
Yeah. We might have to. We might have to. I'm a better collaborator than I let on. But anyway. Well, we are at almost the close of 2 hours here. So, and hasn't it flown by? Seriously.
It has, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. People don't believe
what they say.
That.
Time flies when you're having fun. And this is fun.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had fun. I'm having fun having you here. Eric Hawkins says, I think you and Amy should team up to write Hounds of God. 2 werewolf priests travel across the country hunting monsters. I think we need a cover artist, Eric. Could you?
Right.
I'm just thinking here, just thinking out loud, just kind of spitballing this thing. But I know some really, really terrific cover artists. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. So anyway,
for my horror anthology, I'm gonna be hollering at Jeffrey.
There we go. So. And Cindy Kemp says, time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. We love you, Cindy. CKOEPP. Seriously, check that website out. She is fantastic. And great show, guys. Thank you, Brian Rodman. Rick, I feel like I finally got to know you a little. Time's fun when you're having flies. That's right. Thank you, Brian Rodman, for contributing to the general folderol. So thank you.
Yes.
And Rick, thank you very much for being here. You have made this a wonderful, wonderful show. And I don't care what you say. This is not the last time we're having you on here. Okay.
All right. Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's right, my God. Look out for me. And Cindy Cap says, thanks for hosting the adventure. Great fun had by all. Thank you, Cindy, for being a part of it too.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for the great jokes, Cindy. You are so awesome. You really are. And again, please check out CKOEPP.com and check out what Cindy has to offer on Amazon and bearpublications.com. Not that I have this memorized, but anyway, Brian Rom. Why am I thinking of him? Because I'm seeing his name all over the thing on the right. Rick Bradley, who's even cooler because he's the guest. It's the beard thing. I know all these people with beards and not me. Blame Cookie. But anyway, Rick, again, thank you, sir. And I'm going to give you the full screen here. How can people keep up with your amazing exploits?
Well, you can check out my Amazon author page at it's a bit.ly.com/rbradley. Also have authorrickbradley.com, and you can find me on Facebook. Just search for author Rick Bradley, and it should bring up this handsome mug here. And yeah, you can follow me that way. And before long, I will be starting up a Rad Publishing page. So that'll get out there for you too.
There you go. And to remind everybody what to look for, there it is. Rad Publishing. All right. So please keep an eye out for that. That's going to be an imprint I think you're going to be proud to have in your library there. And again, Rick, thank you very much. Thank you to all the clever Morians here for participating in tonight's adventure. Rick, we're going to put you on mute, put you in the background, and then we'll have our after show. How's that sound?
I think my headphones went out.
Okay, well, you fix your headphones, and I'll put you on mute, and then we'll talk in a few minutes. How's that? I'm not waiting for an answer. You just sit there. Anyway, anyway, again, thank you very much, Rick Bradley. Please check this man out. There is a reason why he's got such great stories out there into the public, because he's a terrific writer. And thank you, Christian Basil and Jen Thompson, for sharing this adventure. We appreciate you so much. Christian Basil, check him out every Tuesday night before this show at 6 p.m. with The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Tonight's episode is awesome, as always. And Jen Thompson, we love you. Can't wait to be at Peoria with you. And Clyde Hall says, great show, Rick and Brian. Have a great evening, ladies and gents. Thank you very much, Clyde, and we'll see you in a couple days on Comic Book Spectrum with Eric Hawkins and Brian Rodman. And yes, I am saying Brian Rodman because I haunt your thoughts and my dreams. You betcha. Anyway, thank you to our great list of people who have supplied comments and folderol for the evening. And we appreciate you. Next week on Clever Title Pending, we're going to have a new guest, Ted Sikora, who has a fantastic new comic book out right now called Bloom. It's very different. The art's beautiful. And we'll be promoting that all this week. I believe it's still on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but anyway, we're going to get some links up for that, and we'll be promoting that. It's a beautiful book, and we're real proud to have Ted on 1 week from tonight. So please check out Clever Title Pending when we come back to you next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We're going to have a great show as always. And please check out the work of Rick Bradley. And a big thank you to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network right here. Please take a screenshot of that. Please sign up for the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook. Give that a like and follow these great shows with wonderful people like Ted Davies and Carl Witzman and Brian Rodman, Clyde Hall, Eric Hawkins, Michaela Jade, Chrissy Davies, Nicholas Tockard, Joe Dog McKeel, the Skunk Rocker, a whole bunch of great people, 7 days a week, full of entertainment and information that will make you a better person, I'm sure. And we also want to thank our Patreon subscribers. Just $1 a month can get you all kinds of cool things. Please go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And many of the people you see in the graphic there have their own Patreon pages. Please check them out. It's a great way to support your favorite creators on a modest monthly financial basis, and you'll get all kinds of cool things for it, trust me. And also want to thank Plasma Fire Graphics for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your readers or your potential readers, and that's what's going to make them take your put your book in their cart. So check with Jeffrey Hayes and let him do some really cool graphic things for you. Go to there's Facebook page for Plasma Fire Graphics, also plasmafiregraphics.com when the look of your book matters to you. So we're going to get down to where we need to be to end this show. We thank everyone for being here. We appreciate you greatly. We hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week on Clever Title Pending, and tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on Nevermind the Furthermore. Everyone, have a fantastic day, and as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. That's just what you are. Thank you for being here on Clever Title Pending.